beautiful lights. I am your host, Kimberly Barrett. Welcome to the Sharing Love and Light Show, Vibration and Consciousness on the Planet. I am a psychic medium, quantum energy healer, and intuitive coach here to help you experience light and love. On this show, I will help you tap into your personal power and shift your energy so you can step into your life's purpose and manifest your dreams. I believe that love is not a verb, it is a state of being. Stay with me for the next hour and unlock the quantum energy gifts that are already in you. You're listening to the Sharing Love and Light Show starting now. Hello, beautiful lights. Welcome back to the Sharing Love and Light Show on Transformation Talk Radio. I'm so excited tonight. I have a guest with me where we are going to talk energy medicine tonight, and she's going to talk a bit about emotion code. I'm hoping also to get her to share a bit of her story to give many of us hope. I met her probably about 7 years ago, and I met her because a friend of mine was going to her Qigong yoga class, and I started going and getting so much benefit from this energy medicine. So I really want to share her. I think I've talked quite a bit on a number of occasions about different skills that she's given me. So she's going to share her love and light with us tonight. Shanti is Shanti Free, EMD. She's a medicine energy doctor. She has 27 years of experience in the field of natural and holistic modalities. She is a registered metaphysician. She utilizes vibrational medicine, medical Qigong, yoga therapy, Reiki, breathwork, meditation, magnets, and so much more. I had to throw those on there. Shanti's here to help you prevent dis-ease, recover balance and ease when lost, and to help you realize energy blocks so that you may have the energy to create the life you desire. Release energy blocks, not just realize them, but like release the energy blocks. And Shanti, I know you've done that for me. So welcome, Shanti.
Well, I'm grateful to be here.
and Shanti is one of those people that just emanates peace. So those of you out there that can feel energy, you will feel her groundedness and her peace. I know from knowing her over the years that she had really gone through a lot to work hard at that. But tonight we're talking energy medicine. Think that many of my listeners are from many different places all across the world. Not all of them really understand what energy medicine is. Can you talk to us a little bit about what we mean by energy medicine?
Well, yes.
Give us a little teaching.
Okay, yeah. Well, first of all, it's, we certainly are needing to find the medicine that can help us to restore harmony, to restore balance, right? So we're looking for that thing that can, certainly aid us in experiencing life in a way that we truly are enjoying life, right? And so when it comes to energy, we know that energy is everything. From the scientific point of view, everything is made up of atoms. And so in that basic composition, absolutely everything we can utilize in the natural world, that is made up of energy, that we can utilize it as medicine, such as sunshine. And naturally, the air that we breathe can be a therapeutic tool, right? As we experience that medicine of oxygen and prana, and the energy that is abundantly present. We're in that ocean of energy. And so it is a big umbrella that covers a whole lot. I feel that sometimes people think of energy medicine as things like Reiki, right? The hands-on healing modalities. And, naturally that's part of it, but there's more that we can expand in our understanding on how we can work with and utilize the energy that is coming from the natural world.
And I'm so glad you're bringing that up, because I've talked a lot on my radio show about we are energy beings.
Yes.
And that, we are infinite, unlimited energy. We have come here as energy beings having a, human physical experience. And yet when we break out of, and I was talking recently about third dimensional versus like going into fourth and fifth, that in third dimensional, we believe everything is real, that, this crystal is solid and that it's real. And, and instead, what I'm hearing you say is everything is actually scientifically made of atoms. And the atoms are made of energy, and everything is energy. So we can, what I just heard you is utilize your breath, which I've talked about with all my listeners before. You've talked about using sound, using crystals, using Reiki is a thing that you can learn, right, to use. I know you've done the Qigong type of medicine. That's what, ancient Chinese. What's Qigong? Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah. And before I go into that, it's just kind of talking also about, the source of everything that is physical. It actually, has a non-physical component, right? Is the source of everything is non-physical. It's that energy, that beautiful, that it seems like a mystery because it is in the non-physical. And as you mentioned, if it can't touch it, it seems like it's not real. And yet, as we know that the air that we breathe is invisible, and yet is very much there sustaining life, right?
Yes.
So that non-physical source. And so with Qigong, or Qigong, sometimes it's called, it is a way that we're using physical energy, such as movement, moving our physical energy so that we can open the channels that can allow this non-physical energy to able to move through us in a way that we are strengthened, we're revitalized, we're enlivened, and we're able to open to truly getting to experience and realize this non-physical world, going beyond the veil, going into that realm where, we get to experience life in such an amazing way. They would be going beyond the obvious.
And being able to shift our energies. Yeah, because I know a lot of people are feeling stressed out. There's a lot of, negativity out in the world. It's easy to get stressed and fearful, and it's holiday season for a lot of people. So I know you all are out there getting all, tense and rushing and doing all kinds of stuff, and things aren't working the same way that they did prior to 2 years ago. So really being able to use energy medicine to help us. And the question I'm going to ask you is, because I love when you talk about this, is to talk to us about vibration and frequency. And you talk about water.
Right.
In terms of vibration and frequency. And I know that some people can see that I was holding a water bottle up. There's other people that this is radio. So I want you to imagine that there's a glass of water or a water bottle as we're talking to you. But can you expand on that a little?
Yes, I do love this analogy of, the very clear understanding that, water is made up of atoms, obviously, and molecules that can change according to how fast or slow those atoms are spinning. So when we are, the atoms spin slower, then the water becomes ice. And as soon as, those atoms begin to spin a little faster, it returns back into liquid. And then, they spin a little faster still, and then it goes into vapor. And so that is something that a very really clear way to see how it is the vibration, how the atoms are vibrating that makes the difference on everything that exists. Everything is just, a matter of how fast or how slow those atoms are spinning. And so, the same thing with us, that's when we are feeling anxious or feeling depressed or feeling, that's another thing right now with the understanding in science that we're made up mostly of water. And so, we can feel sometimes that, sort of very contracted experience when, we feel a lot of energy that we've accumulated because of stress or because of all the emotions that we've been, holding on to. And then we feel like, it's even hard to move, right? We feel so, like too much energy actually, right? That, becomes overwhelming and we're not able to move with ease. We're not as fluid, because of this so much that we're carrying. So, getting those, the energy, the frequency to, that's where movement comes in, right? We need to move, if we can't move anything, sometimes when we're having difficulty getting out of bed, the thing that we can move that can make a difference is the breath. Moving the breath will begin to shift and change how the atoms are, spinning. And sometimes, we can work with different speeds of breathing. So when we need to slow down, we slow down the breath. When we need to speed up and have more energy, then we can speed up our breath and do that fire breathing, that's very known in Kundalini yoga, for example, doing fire breath. To get that fire that can help to purify and burn up all this, this stress energy.
And I love that we're talking about this. We're going to get ready to go on break. But what I wanted to say is we're going to talk about emotion code as well, which is part of energy medicine. And in the next segment, I would first really love to hear your story. And in your story, kind of tie into how you went into emotion code so that when we get back from that break, we can talk about emotion code. So that's my plan. And then we'll see what happens as far as, I tend to go with the flow, very intuitive, those type of things. I'm telling my listeners this, but I'm so excited about this. Shanti is amazing. I just really want her to tell snippets of her story. I know, kind of how you grew up, Shanti, and like how you went through your stressful time, which I really think helps a lot of my listeners to know that you've been through it and now this is where you are. And then we're going to talk emotion code for the rest of the time. So we're going to go on break. And when we get back, more of Shanti on energy medicine. We'll see you soon. Hi, it's Kimberly. I'm back. Welcome back, beautiful lights. You're listening to the Sharing Love and Light show with me, Kimberly Barrett. I am here with Shanti. But before I get into our interview, I want to remind you I can be reached through my website, sharingloveandlightshow.com. If you would like to reach my guest, Shanti, she can be reached through her website, shantiyogahaven.com. I'm also doing 20% off of my Blue Star package for anyone that is called to Blue Star. I really want to raise the vibration on the planet and get us there faster. If you're interested in that, definitely reach out to me through the sharingloveandlightshow.com and you will get that discount. So I am back with Shanti and we are talking energy medicine and emotion code. But first, I want to hear a synopsis of Shanti's story because it just fills me up when I hear what she's been through and where she is now.
Well, thank you. I guess I'll begin with childhood, where growing up in essentially an ashram with both my parents into yoga, and even with that beautiful blessing of upbringing, of having a lifestyle that certainly working with how to maintain health, prevent disease, and just a full spectrum of how to do life. It's grateful for having the tools, because I've certainly have had my share of life shocks. There's, certainly things that happen in childhood, things that, just moving here to the United States from Nicaragua, that's where I grew up, and, that big shift in my life coming from, Nicaragua to another country where I was learning the language, and, having those, that shift in experience as a teenager. And then, certainly there's going through marriage and having children and getting a divorce, and, just experiencing the financial stresses, going through divorce, just the full spectrum of, just doing life, right? As life shows up sometimes, and which I find that it really, the blessing in that is that it forces us, life, seems to force us into seeking that which can help to alleviate, the pain and the suffering. And that's where, I would certainly seek spirituality, different ways, lots of self-help books and different, just continuing to discover, what can help me to come back into a state of peace. I've made a commitment, that I wanted to learn how to be peaceful, how to gain that, which many masters, many, Gandhi and others who seem to, well, obviously they did get to that place of, being able to maintain that equanimity, that equilibrium. And so it's been my life discovering what works, what helps. And I remember one time somebody asking me, have you always been peaceful? And it's just like, no, I absolutely have my whole full range of emotion. And but it really, I started wondering, when was it that I still really started to have a greater and a longer lasting, because sometimes in the beginning, we have moments of peace, and then we begin to put more moments of peace together.
Oh yeah. And I remember I had some peace when I met you, but not the kind of peace that I have today.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's from making that decision that I want to do things that are going to lead me to peace and to love. And then once I found them, I'm like, now I need to share them with people.
Exactly.
Yeah, which I know you do.
Yeah, and being in that inquiry, what really helped me to be more, become more peaceful. And I realized that is when I decided to be gentle with myself. I recognized that I had a really strong pattern of beating myself up, that part of, carrying the guilt and responsibility that didn't belong to me, taking it on other people's, and it just
I don't know anything about that. A whole lot. And I know some of my listeners out there that are listening to us, and you guys know, I know who you are, that I know that they had the same thing, and some of them still do. So it's great to hear you talk about there's a solution by seeking, by setting that intention, right? We've talked about intention being so important on this show. Setting that intention that, I'm going to move toward being more gentle with myself.
Yes.
And I want to find the pathways.
Yeah. And the very important, absolutely necessary to also be in that forgiving, that willingness to be forgiving of oneself, which is, included in being more kind and gentle with oneself. Because if we're not forgiving ourselves for, even just, small things. Sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves when, just a small thing, and I remember when I used to spend hours or sometimes days just replaying, what I could have said, what I could have done, and beating myself up.
That's the should, right? And so we start releasing the shoulds, and I tell everyone, and I'm not cussing you all,
right?
Stop shoulding all over yourself. Let go of the shoulds.
Absolutely.
Right. And to start being, a little more gentle. And I'm so glad you're saying that, because the first time someone said to be gentle with myself, I felt like that was, this is sounding really weird, but this is from my friend Susan Dyer. And she said, it's like walking through a cheese grater, because I didn't know what that looked like. And then I met people like you and other people in my life who had energy medicine, who had pathways, and they would say, test this, test this. And that's what it sounds like you were doing, is test things out and see if they work for you. So talk a little bit about that journey, because we're going to move into talking about emotion code, right?
Okay. Yes, yes. Well, I find that, it always, the foundation and the basis of energy, how do we gather energy? How do we, there's different ways that we can do that we can work with energy. We certainly can gather energy, can release it, can transmute it, can expand it, can contract it. There's so many different ways that we can, energy is more malleable, right? But it begins with the breath. That's how we are able to take in energy. There's, we certainly take in energy through our eyes, through our ears, through our skin, we certainly, but the breath is the most important, right? Breath is life.
We've talked about that on so many different shows, right? We even had Melanie Joel on here, who was like doing breath work for us, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is truly, it's like, it's so, we don't have to think about breathing. And so therefore it's taken for granted. We don't realize that it is such a powerful tool to be able to shift our energy. Just even a little more oxygen in your brain can make a difference, right? And how clearly we can think. We need oxygen to begin with. So, it is such a vital, and I find that no matter what, it is coming back to my breath. I like to say, when we follow our breath in and follow our breath out, and we stay with the breath, that is, the breath becomes the pathway that reconnects you back to yourself.
And I love that you say that, because one of the things that I talk about is you can't feel, when you're really with the breath, you can't feel a past breath, and you can't feel a future breath. If you're not breathing, you're not really alive, right?
Right.
Like eventually you're going to breathe again. And so it brings you back to that present moment and fully present with yourself. I'm so glad you're saying that. And all of this is going to lead us into our next segment that's getting ready to come up, which is emotion code. What is emotion code? Tell us, just briefly, we have maybe 2 minutes. What's emotion code? Okay. And then we'll get into it more after the break.
Yes. Well, it's under energy medicine because it is using the magnetic field, as well as working with the subconscious mind, which we certainly understand that again it contains all information that is kind of like our personal Akashic records.
It's those programs that are running in the background, right?
Yeah, it is. It is the programs, but in emotion code, it is certainly working specifically with the emotions that are trapped in the subconscious mind. We're not even
from like past traumas and things like that, right? Like past things that have happened in childhood, and past things that have happened when you were a teenager, and things like that.
And even yesterday.
And even yesterday, trapped stuff.
Even right before the show, or
I'm in denial. Even yesterday, even today, while I was like rushing to get to the radio show tonight, right?
It's the understanding that sometimes we just don't have the time to process our emotions, and or we're not supported in that. Like our society doesn't support having emotions, so we carry a lot of baggage. So emotion code is about releasing that emotional baggage that we're not even conscious of.
Yeah, and we're not even conscious. And then I've had people that I teach, that talk about the pains in the body and the things that get them and those type of things. And they said, yeah, I've spent my whole life putting all those emotions on a shelf.
Yeah.
You know,
and
so
they're not necessarily on the shelf. They're,
they're lodged in your body, like they're
Yeah.
lodged in your cells and lodged in your DNA and lodged in that water that's in your body energetically. I love it. So when we get back from our break, we're going to talk about that. And Shanti's going to teach us about emotion code. And I believe emotion code, who was that created emotion code?
Yeah,
Wrote the
Dr.
book.
Bradley Nelson. Dr. Bradley Nelson is the one that developed the protocols.
That's
for
who it
releasing
is.
trapped emotions. Yes.
Yeah. So Dr. Bradley Nelson, who uses what is it? How do you say that? Kinesiology and the
Yes,
magnetic field
kinesiology.
to clear trapped energies, energy
Yes.
and motion, which are interfering with your health, peace, and joy. Awesome.
Yes.
So we're going to come right back. I will see you soon. Welcome back. This is your host, Kimberly Barrett, returning for the Sharing Love and Light show on Transformation Talk Radio. I have Shanti with me tonight talking energy medicine and emotion code. I do want to make sure you know how to contact us. Again, I can be reached through my website, sharingloveandlightshow.com. If you'd like to reach my guest, Shanti, she can be reached through her website, shantiyogahaven.com. You can reach out to me if you're interested in Blue Star and you want that 20% discount. If you've been listening before, you know the code. Otherwise, reach out to me and I will make sure you get that. So we are back talking to Shanti about Dr. Bradley Nelson's emotion code. And I was just reminding Shanti that I had like a locked up shoulder and I went to see her and she did emotion code on me. She gave me Qigong exercises to do with it. And I think a couple of other things that were energy medicine that you talked to me about that I started doing every day, along with some other energy medicine. And my shoulder is no longer locked up from doing these things. And there were a lot of things. I think I was gripping the steering wheel too tight. And that's when you're like holding on, stressing out and instead of flowing with life, right? Not trusting life, not feeling safe. So I know, and I also have someone in my life that went to see Shanti recently who has severe trauma. And Shanti did emotion code on her and some other energy techniques. And the last time I met with her, she could tell the difference because she had another trigger and she was able to work through it without some of the major like stuff that was going on for her before. It was much easier to move through the stuff she was going through. And I was so impressed, and I knew it was because she was doing that energy medicine with you. So I am talking her up because I'm telling you, I bring people on here that I know are just absolutely amazing. So Shanti, we're back to you about emotion code. Tell us what we need to know about it.
Oh, it's really powerful medicine. We were talking about pain and how it seems, especially, the story of so many women who go to doctors and, have this pain and they do all these tests and they don't know, they can't find anything. They said, it's holding your head, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, an experience that is, seems to be common and the understanding, and what happens is that so many different stories of people who have discovered that it was trapped emotions that were causing the physical pain. Mm-hmm. And as soon as you release the emotion, the pain goes away. And so it's something that important to understand. A lot of I came across a study where guilt was one of the main sources or causes for physical pain is guilt. And so, but when you carry trapped emotions that we can certainly even carry when we were in the womb. Our mother, going through all the various emotions as in a baby, absorbing all of those emotions, right? So we have, those trapped emotions, and then all the different things that happen in life that, again, we're not able to process, and, we trap those emotions. And so it's a very much energy that's very much alive, and is creating a frequency. And that frequency creates resonance, which means that your environment is responding to that frequency that you're carrying and is matching that. So if you carry anger, for example, then, one of the things that happens is that energy that's very much alive there, it creates a resonance where every little thing can make you angry. Right.
I've seen that, and I've been in that myself. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so it grows, it's very much alive, and then it creates chaos inside. And you wonder, the reason, why can't I feel my joy and, feel peaceful or calm, is because there's these energies, that you're carrying in your body that are creating that chaos and preventing you from experiencing a sense of just being able to just be at ease.
The trapped emotions and trapped, stuff that's in there energetically. And we were talking too about, that movie came out, Emotion, and it talks about all the studies done about feelings being energy in motion. And we're talking about energy that's in motion getting blocked, right? And getting trapped, and not being fully expressed. And I've noticed that some of the people that I really respect that are talking about how do we get through this new age, and how do we raise the consciousness on the planet, is that you've got to feel those feelings and release them, right? Like release them out of the body. And there are times when we can't. And so, I know emotion code, and I know Qigong and some of the other things, you even taught me just to use my voice, like, taking a deep breath and just and getting it out, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is, there's different ways that we can certainly work in releasing emotion. And I really have come to appreciate emotion code as one of those, ways that we can work with releasing this energy, just because, what's really great about emotion code is that we can, through kinesiology testing, and for those of you who may
tell
not
us what that is,
kinesiology is otherwise known as muscle testing. So muscle testing is, the way that we can access information or access truth. What we're seeking is truth. What's truly going on in the body, in the subconscious mind or subconscious body. And through muscle testing, we can tell, whether something is in alignment with truth or is not. What happens is that the body stays strong when it's in alignment with truth. But when it's not, it becomes weak. And so, you might have seen the muscle testing that is done with the arm extended and pushing down and seeing, whether the body stays strong or it goes weak. And, generally the questions are just a yes or a no. Is there a trapped emotion that is ready to be released now, is the first question. Because sometimes, there are definitely emotions that we're not ready to release yet.
It's not ready to go yet. I'm still holding on to that one.
Truly.
I'm guilty of that. Yeah.
And so then, we're asking the subconscious mind. We're asking the subconscious mind of, what emotion is ready to release. And we do that through kinesiology testing. I can do it, that's why it also is a way that it can be done remotely. We can do it through, this technology, because, there's a way that we're connected. And so, with with your permission, say that we were doing it now, I would ask your permission to ask your subconscious mind about, the information that we needed in regard to, what emotions. And so then after going into that, and bringing into our consciousness the emotion, then we would ask, is there anything else that we need to know about this emotion? So sometimes we can learn that perhaps we trapped it between the ages of 1 and 10, or perhaps 10 and 20. When did it happen? Where is it lodged in the body? Mm-hmm. Right? Because when it stays in the body and you're experiencing some sort of disease or illness, is a chronic, something, a trapped emotion that has been there since, well, like I said, sometimes even in the womb. And so it can be there so long that it can create, some form of disease, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's after then bringing it into conscious awareness and, having sometimes a conversation about it, and, or, just asking those questions, when did it happen? And, being able to, have some conversation. And then, once we learn what we need to learn about it, then with a magnetic field and, essentially a magnet through the central channel can erase, magnets. And that's just,
tell us briefly about, just really briefly, because we have like 2 minutes left of this segment, is, how the magnets can help with the energy.
Yeah. So what happens is that we know that magnets can erase the information on a credit card. Most people know that, right? You don't want to put a credit card against a magnet. But the same thing with a telephone. Telephone and computers, you don't want them against magnets, because they will erase the whole information on the computer or the telephone or the credit card.
So in case some of you don't know that, don't get the magnets, these really heavy magnets, yes, with your computer, right?
Exactly.
So it can erase stuff. So the idea is, if your energy, then if you use a magnet.
Yeah, right? It erases that information, because, it is a frequency, it is energy, and emotions are energy. They have a particular frequency. Sadness is a different frequency than anger. And so, but whatever frequency it is, the magnet has the ability to jumble that information, that energy, and then clear it and erase it and clear it from your body. And when it's done,
because it wasn't supposed to stay trapped in the first place. It just got trapped in there. And so now you're using the magnet energy and the energy medicine to erase it.
Through the energy, the major channels in the body, the central channels, is how we pull that energy out. And it is, working with the power of intention, because certainly, it is the intention of clearing that energy.
And we've talked about intention on this show.
It's right. It's one of the most important things. If you don't have an intention to clear, your emotions, then it doesn't happen. Right?
It might not happen. Yeah. And for my listeners, if you go to my host page, I have all of the recordings so that you can re-listen to them. And one of my very first episodes interviewing someone, we were talking about intentions in that episode. And Shanti, I'm going to segue us. I love what we're talking about. We're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to wrap up about emotion code and how great it is in helping us, get better. So we will see you really soon. Welcome back to the Sharing Love and Light Show, Vibration and Consciousness on the Planet. We are on Transformation Talk Radio. I'm your host, Kimberly Barrett. I have Shanti Free with me tonight. We're talking emotion code. We're talking energy medicine. She has shared her amazing story with us. And we're really trying to help people out there understand about these things so that you can know they're out there. You can certainly reach Shanti if you would like support through emotion code or through any other type of energy medicine. She is available not just in Knoxville, Tennessee. Certainly if you're in Knoxville, go see Shanti. But she's also available for distance, because keep in mind, we're talking energy, right? We can connect with each other through distance support. So you can reach her through her website, shantiyogahaven.com. You can reach me through sharingloveandlightshow.com. We are going to wrap this beautiful conversation up. It is so awesome. So Shanti, what would you like to say as far as takeaway with energy medicine and emotion code? What do you want to leave them with? Really understanding.
Yeah, well, is that knowing that we have the ability to shift our energy, shift our frequency, shift our vibration. And that's really key to, being able to feel in a greater sense of feeling in charge and in control of our own energy. We need energy for everything, right? And we know that trapped emotions can definitely create blockages on being able to manifest, to be creative, to do the things that, we often we can find ourselves, saying, well, I really want to do this, but there's something blocking me. What is this block that I have? Well, the understanding and what so many of us in this field are coming, the bottom line is trapped emotions. And so, it's nowadays with this technology, is beautiful that we don't have to spend 10 years in therapy, that we can literally, generally in a session, I can release 5 to 10 trapped emotions. Dr. Bradley Nelson came up with 60. Generally we have about 60 different types of trapped emotions, and that's just to name a few. But, we can release these energies. And, the stories that I certainly, so many stories of people who can absolutely feel able to move more freely, clearly, lighter, they can immediately feel lighter, as releasing all these emotions that are carrying for so long. And it just, it's amazing.
You can get out of bed in the morning and some of your ailments go away,
Yeah.
We were talking about things like, and I'm not medical, but I can tell you, talking about, not Shanti and I talking about this, but some friends and I talking about it, we're therapists, and we were talking about irritable bowel syndrome and how common that is when you have people that are really with those trapped emotions of like being stressed all the time, and being anxious and those type of things that can create that. Then when you use emotion code, you can clear that stuff out and even see a shift in health in people.
Oh,
yes. It supports, I'm not saying don't go see a doctor. So don't send me a bunch of emails about don't go see a doctor. I'm not anti-Western medicine. I just think that energy medicine is also a huge support. I've seen it help a lot of people. And that's what I hear you talking about, Shanti, that it can really help us in that. It can help us feel more peaceful, work through things, manifest things. Yeah.
Releasing pain, there's definitely physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, and that type of pain is something that, we talked about, is that sometimes in the medical profession, definitely, there are the importance of working with all of it. I mean, that's the part of energy medicine. This is one modality, and the necessity to look at nutrition and how we're nourishing ourselves, how we're breathing, how we're moving our body, how we're sleeping, all of those things. And and I like to say that one of the things that I offer with the emotion code is that you've experienced the vibration, we call the MD or multidimensional therapy bed, where we're working with frequencies that are harmonious, the Hertz music that can be felt throughout the whole body. So generally in a session, if you're here in Knoxville, having the beautiful opportunity to not only release the emotions, but then being able to be in a biomagnetic bed that helps to not only deeply relax the nervous system, balance the chakras, helps to bring the vibration, your frequency, into a more harmonious frequency. And then there's the crystal lights, on top of that. And so it's all, that's all part of the energy medicine, using the crystals, using the magnets, using the vibration, sound healing. sound healing. And, with all of that, there's also the coaching, that comes with how do we prevent, in getting those emotions trapped again? How do we shift our perspective so that then we can understand life and working with the emotions that come up? What can we do? The Qigong.
Yeah, can I ride those emotion waves?
Yeah, the Qigong and the yoga and the breath
it
work and the, all of those things come into play.
and sound and yeah. I love that you're saying that there's just so much out there that we can do. And really, I love that you chose this topic. I actually asked Shanti, what topic do you want to talk about? Sometimes I hand people topics, but in this case, I know you do energy medicine. And I was like, which one do you want to talk about? Because I'll probably have you on again at some point to talk about some of the other energy medicine that right? Like Qigong. Shanti goes to help our adults and our teens over at a mental health facility that's an intensive outpatient. That's really like a phenomenal treatment for dialectical behavioral therapy. And Shanti will go and help out by teaching some of these energy medicine techniques to them, which is really, really awesome and super helpful. So Shanti, you do so much. And I'm encouraging Shanti to come up with a YouTube or DBT, not DBT, I'm sorry, I'm grabbing the wrong word again. It's getting late. We're getting down to 3 minutes before we got to hop off here. So, but I've been encouraging her to do some things that, we can purchase and have with us. So
it's definitely coming.
I am looking forward to my Qigong to release stress and ground and those type of things. I have my yoga videos, but 2022, we're going to have some Shanti stuff that we can get, and be able to have access to. There's meditations she's walked us through. And we have like 1 minute left, something like that. Tell the story about your guru and when someone asked him how to let go. I just love that story. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I'm trying to remember that.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
So do you mind if I tell it, Shanti? So I got this from Shanti and she was probably channeling it. So a way to close this out for us tonight is, she was talking about her guru when she was younger, her guru master, and someone asked, how do you let go? And he, acted like he was going to create this like really big story. And I'm going to, I'm the guru master. I'm going to tell you how to let go. And everybody was ready. And he goes, this is how you let go. 1, 2, 3, be gone.
I remember, yes.
In honor of you, I needed to share that with my listeners. I got that from Shanti.
And I just want to also say, remember that, and letting go is shifting our frequency helps to transmute all those energies to access peace. So I like to
so we're accessing peace. We're accessing peace. So I have to close up. Remember, love is not a verb. It is a state of being. We can tap into that energy at any time. It's a level of consciousness we can move into. Love and peace, another one that is something that we can tap into at any time. Join me every first and third Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio for sharing love and light, show vibration and consciousness on the planet. Thank you, Shanti. I love you. We will see you soon.
Love you too.
Thanks for tuning in to the Sharing Love and Light Show, Vibration and Consciousness on the Planet, with me, Kimberly Barrett. Remember, love is not a verb, it is a state of mind. You've spent the last hour experiencing love and light and tapping into the quantum energy that already exists in you. But the journey doesn't stop here. Tune in every first and third Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio, as we continue exploring the energetic shifts happening in and around us. With love and light, see you next time.